Welcome back to the stock portfolio update videos. Currently, my two stock portfolios sit at a combined value of over $76,000. That's made up of the $46,981 in my stake portfolio and the $29,274 in my Vanguard portfolio. As you've probably seen, the stock market's been trading upwards, and if you look at the S&P, in the last week alone, it's up nearly 4%, and it's slowly bouncing back to where it was a month ago. Even in the last few days, it's been trading up, and what that's meant for my portfolio is it's bounced back up to around 32%, after previously going all the way down to only being up around 23%. So it's bounced back around 10% overall. Looking at my Vanguard portfolio as well, that's now sitting at $29,000, and I haven't invested any extra since my last video. What this has been for is the $81 that the VLC has traded up, and even VGS has traded up to $126, meaning when I do my next investment into this account, it should hopefully break the $30,000 mark. Having a quick look through my holdings in my stake portfolio, you can see nothing's changed, but my recent addition into Amazon has been quite successful, as it's up 5.7% in the last week and is nearly bouncing back for the last month. But due to the time that I purchased in, you can see I'm up around 10% on the position, which is $140 USD at $160 per share, and it's now trading at $177. So it's been a good investment for me so far. And if it can manage to get back to these highs it was previously in around July, then I'll definitely be in the green a lot more. Looking at my other portfolio positions, you can see Apple has done extremely well recently, and in the last week alone is up again close to 4%. This has taken a bit of a rebound and means I'm now up around 58% in my Apple portfolio position. So the last year is up 28%, and even if you look in the last 5 years, even though I haven't invested that long, it's up 337%. I started investing in Apple around 2021 and have been dollar cost averaging since. What that means is it's one of my best returns in terms of a stock, and I haven't actually sold any of my Apple position as I've been investing, and it takes my total equity to over 4,100. Going through the rest, nothing's changed with Costco, still just ticking along, been doing quite well. Google, which is a position I bought into somewhat recently, in terms of growing it, it's had a bit of a rough month, down 10%, but when I look at my overall, I'm still up around nearly 20% into it, and but yeah, hopefully it will rebound. There's been a lot of news around Google, which I'll cover in a little bit, around potentially splitting up the company into its different subsidiaries like YouTube, Google Ads, Android, Search, even Cloud, but I'll go through that in a little bit as well. Going through the rest, McDonald's is still the same, just ticking along. I'm up around 8.7% on it. Microsoft, my biggest individual stock holding, is up around 33% and is now had, same as the other stocks, has had a little bit of a rebound in the last week, but it's still down over the last month. Again, I don't really mind. Hopefully I can buy in more and get in at a better price. I'm sitting at around 13.5 shares, and my average share price is all the way down at 314 compared to the 418 it's trading at now. And if you have a look like a month, the last month view, and it was trading at basically 450 almost at points. If I can get back up to that again, this portfolio will be skyrocketing in terms of total equity. And going through that, I did actually hit a bit of a milestone for myself. I'm trying to encourage myself to celebrate a bit more of these milestones, and that's I broke the $750,000 of $100,000 mark. So breaking that $75,000 in total value was pretty good. I can pretty much start to see now that effect of having a bigger portfolio, and the days where, even small days where things are tiny bit up, you're still up a few $100s. If things go down, you're down a few $100s. So things are just getting bigger and bigger. And hopefully I can hit that $100,000 mark by kind of first half of next year. I've been on a good track. Even when I look back at some of my old videos from like a year ago, my portfolios have grown massively. Again, a lot of that's to do with my deposits. I've deposit pretty regularly and pretty large amounts into these accounts. And again, my portfolio might not be massive compared to other people you might see on YouTube or other social medias, but I've been tracking these videos since it was below 10,000, and now it's all the way up. You'd say, yeah, $65,000 more, and I'm still pretty young in terms of my investment career. I just turned 22, so I'll continue to do these videos, and then hopefully when I hit the $100,000 mark, I'll do another update. And yeah, the snowball can just keep rolling. My dividends are getting bigger, the returns are getting bigger, so hopefully I can keep up this momentum. And during this market downturn that we had recently, I used that as an opportunity to buy in. I didn't obviously time the bottom perfectly for everything. For Amazon, I got pretty lucky, but I invested nearly $5,000, and it's been pretty good for me. So I'm trying to make the most of these times when there is a market downturn to buy in at a cheaper price. But my end goal is still just the dollar cost average. I don't think of myself as some really top-notch investor who does a lot of market research or anything. I just kind of put money in and play for the long term. And like I said, my next goal is to get Vanguard portfolio to 30,000, which will be quite nice. My dividends for Vanguard is a lot bigger as well. I'm not a dividend investor, but getting those dividends is quite nice. I just reinvest it all. Like I said, I haven't taken $1 out of Vanguard. I took a little bit out of stake at one point because I needed more cash. But for my Vanguard portfolio and my stake portfolio, the goal is to keep growing them until I hit that $100,000 mark. Having a look as well, this article by CNBC pretty much just kind of highlights what's been happening. So stocks closed higher on Friday as it has its best week since of 2024, the S&P. So US stocks rose on Friday as investors closed out the best week of 2024, part of a market comeback from a violent rout that began in August. The S&P 500 added 0.2%, and same with all the major indices like the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones. Everything was pretty much up in the green if you've had a look at your portfolio. Following the comeback this week, S&P 500 is now just 2% away from its mid-July record high. Data this week helped assuage the jittery market. Retail sales data released on Thursday came in much stronger than economists expected, while weekly jobless claims fell. So things are kind of looking good for investors, and that's something I've been keeping my eye on. I watch a few other forms of content of other people covering the markets who go a bit more in depth, and it's nice to hear kind of their insights. Even though, like I said, my portfolio is not that big, it's just nice to stay on top of things. I think then you're a bit more confident in your holdings, and you can kind of go through the downturns. Like when the market had pulled back recently, I wasn't worried about selling or anything. I was more focused on buying in because I figured it was more of a short-term macro effect than a micro effect with any of my companies specifically. Having a look at my two portfolios again on my Excel spreadsheet, this kind of just gives you a bit more of a better idea of how things are looking weighted wise as well. Again, you can see nothing in my Australian portfolio has changed, and my American portfolio, like I've mentioned before, I need to get VOO to 50%. It's currently sitting at 46, so I have a bit to go on that. And then this is kind of how they've been tracking both my portfolios over the months, even year. Obviously, I haven't updated it for August yet because I do that at the end of the month. But you can see there'll be a big jump from 41,000 to 46 for stake. And after I invest, hopefully it'll be a jump from 27 to 30,000 for Vanguard, which will be a big jump this month in terms of net worth wise. In terms of dividends as well, again, I haven't updated this, but you can see there'll be no dividend in August for my Vanguard portfolio or September. That'll be all the way in October, but it should be a bigger one, hopefully in the 300s. And then I'll track as well with I did get some dividends recently. I think I got one from Apple yesterday, and I think Costco as well. They were both quite small, but every little bit counts. I'm just going to reinvest it all, and I'll keep tracking it on here. As you can see by the charts, they've been slowly growing over the terms. But yeah, this was just a quick update to kind of speak about breaking that $75,000 mark and breaking 76 actually now as well. And just kind of this market upturn that's happened. That's kind of been seen by all investors. So feel free to share how your portfolios are doing. And the channel's also growing pretty quick in terms of, for myself, I've broken 800 subscribers now. So the last 28 days, I think I've got like 48 subscribers, which is pretty good for me. And I've just been a bit more consistent on my videos and my shorts. And I had a portfolio update recently. I think we're sitting on 1,400 views, which is my biggest portfolio update video. So it's been quite good. and I'll just keep documenting my journey of investing and just kind of whatever videos I feel like doing. Cheers.